Hello everyone, Pedro here with CineMilled. We're out in the California desert with the first episode of CineRides. The whole purpose of CineRides is to kind of show off your cinema camera car, camera vehicle, whatever that might be, trucky, bike, bicycle, truck, UTV, anything, you name it, tricycle, bicycles, all sorts of things that are rides and have wheels and you do cinema with. To start out the series, I thought what better way to start it off by on set. It happens to be a CineMilled set. We're doing a really cool tutorial series on our YouTube channel, but we actually have the CineMilled F250 here, all rigged up, ready to go. So it's a perfect chance to give you guys a very detailed, in-depth walkthrough of the CineMilled camera truck. The heart of any sort of camera car, as far as I'm concerned, is the CineMilled hitch mount. So you can see in here, I custom made, I welded it in and I hid it inside the bumper, a front hitch. So this allowed me to mount the CineMilled hitch adapter, and then I could do two vertical tubes going up. They're 6-footers, so we can move the camera as high up and as low as we need it. I'm using the CineMilled action arm. Of course, you can mount any arm you want that you might have. What we got going on here is the CineMilled action arm. So the Fox shock here takes care of the bigger bumps. We got the CineMilled ISO mount that's also going to be released soon to take care of the vibrations and the smaller oscillations. And then of course we got the trusty Ronin 2, and the Ronin 2 is all rigged out, ready to go. We got our CineMilled tilt extensions, the upper dovetail, the lower dovetail. With the build we have here with the Sigma, we don't actually need any counterweight. I'm running the battery. We got our C-Motion Fizz controller here for focus iris zoom control. We got a Bright Tangerine Misfit kick because I have to run the circular polarizer. So my regular Misfit Atom doesn't do the trick in this case. And also it's very windy and you're going to be shooting into the wind. So you're going to want a matte box with a rigid mat. Like I said, a pair of 6-foot tubes going up, and then an 8-foot piece of speed rail back to the windshield. Now, if you have a roof rack, you can mount to that. If you don't have a roof rack, if you're renting an F-150 or something like that, or you're borrowing your uncle's car or something like that, you can go with suction cups, which is what we did. So we're using 10-inch CineMilled rigging suction cups, and always when you use suction cups, as good as they are as especially grabbing onto glass, I always run an extra safety strap just in case the worst happens. We actually have these brand new CineMilled ratchet straps, which we'll be doing a more in-depth video on, but everything's rubber coated. We got the safety latch on there, spring loaded, really cool. So I'm excited to actually even be offering gutter hooks and CineMilled ratchet straps. It's all rubber coated. There's a little fabric pad under the ratchet so that you don't scratch things, so really cool. But another cool little detail here, I'm actually running the SDI cable. You can see me coming out of the cracked open the door window there, but I actually just run it inside the tube, and then that actually provides a nice way to organize the cable. And you can see it come out there, and then it drops down the center here of the Mitchell mount, down the center hole of the isolator, and into the Ronin 2. The other thing you'll notice is I'm not running the battery block, and that's because you don't want to, as much as you can, to get the battery block off, because it's a bunch of weight. It can affect the performance of your wire isolator. So we're running the extension power cable, and then over here you can see we're using one of our female Houdinis mounted to one of our universal battery cheese plates, and then that's how we're mounting the Ronin 2 power block module onto the Speedrail. So we can mount the batteries anywhere we want. In addition, you can also mount it on the action arm itself, on these cheesed out surface that we have here on the top of the action arm. So let's check out the back of the truck. again, running the CineMilled hitch mount, hitch adapter. And the nice thing is, you can see it's 21 inches long, so it's very long. It's good to have a very long hitch mount so that you can get the camera lens farther away from the bumper of the vehicle, which means you can pan over a lot farther before you start seeing your own vehicle, right? So you want to get that as far away from the vehicle as possible. So the hitch mount lets you do that. The hitch mount's carrying all the weight of the structure. You can see how rigid this whole thing is. I'm literally, moving my whole body off of the rigging here, and it's super solid. And the reason why it's solid is we got the 2 vertical uprights. You can run a single if you want. The double doesn't let any sort of arm you have on there rotate. But then we got our 360 Houdini mounts right here on this end, so I can alter the angle if I want to. But then coming over here to the corner, we got our fixed Houdini clamps. And so whenever you have right angles, whenever possible, I use the fixed clamps because there's absolutely no play and they make for a much more rigid structure. And so I got a couple of fixed Houdinis right here. And then this is a really cool new piece that we got. It is the universal pickup truck bed mount. So what it is every pickup truck on the market has these holes here. They're exactly for rigging, for mounting like racks and stuff like that. And so what we did is we made a sort of a clamping system, and we used our modular Speedrail starters. And this way it gives you a nice, secure, clean way of mounting and rigging your rear structure for your rear suspension arm to set up. So you can see here the SDI cable running into the small back window of the truck. That brings us to the coolest part, the command center inside of our vehicle. All right, it's hella windy, so I'm gonna close the door here. So you can see here we got a dual seat back seat kit, and it grabs onto the headrest mount and gives you a cheese plate, which then connects to this speed rail that goes across over to the other seat. So it connects both seats together. And then we got here, see here, this red vertical support that's included in the back seat kit. It's designed to support the weight of maybe a bigger monitor like we have in this setup. So you can see here in the operator station, we have our CineMilled control panel. And the control panel, as you might know, is designed to give you a platform to rest both your hands, and so that you can, pan and tilt with much more precision, and you can use your left hand to operate the knobs at the same time that you're shooting. So here at the operator station, we also have a 7-inch small HD 703. And then over here with the big 21-inch monitors, usually where I sit my director, we got a decimator quad splitter. So that means I can run 4 SDI inputs in here and split up the screen. That's why I have such a bigger screen here is, if we have a camera in the front, a camera in the back, we can split the screen up and do 2 monitors at the same time. It's really good for a director. Over here, next to the behind the driver's seat, we have the monitor for the focus puller. So it's a Boland. It's a high bright monitor. It's the BV7, I think. And so we got first AC, director, camera operator, right? So if you have maybe somebody else that needs to look at a monitor, you can sit them in the front passenger seat. You can rig up a monitor there. But this usually covers for my shoots. Couple cool little details. I use the female Houdini here to rig up my SDI splitter. So I can just sit here and change the cameras and change the settings, and cleans up the install. The other thing I did was we got these cool new Speedrail end caps now. These will be available on our website soon. So that just gets rid of that ugly, unsightly hole that's usually there because it's just Speedrail. Kind of cleans up the install if you're trying to make this a really nice, clean environment. So let's just show you one little more detail on the front seat. You could see here a little bit better the headrest mounts. These are actually version 1s. We've updated the design a little bit. We added air pin holes and we extended it a little bit, added a side rigging point and a couple cool things. So what I wanted to point out is, since this is a much bigger monitor, it has a tendency to, of course, want to flop around and vibrate. So what we did is, luckily, it has a rigging point. A lot of the larger monitors have additional rigging points on them. So this little cheese plate, right here, you can see on both sides where you can mount accessories like we did here. And so what I did is I mounted a 3/8 rod off of it, and I added these additional support 5/8 support tubes. So the way this worked is we went from a 5/8 rigging rod to a 3/8 rigging rod. And if you remember the 360 Houdini clamps, you can interchange them, right? So you can go from 3/8 to 5/8. You can go from 5/8 to Speedrail. You can go from 3/8 to Speedrail. So that's a really cool thing. And this is a good example of why you would want to mix and match your Houdini clamps. The other little cool thing you see here, I got our wireless receiver, so that when we're doing our handheld ready rig setups, we can have the director just stay in the car and not have to run around the desert if he doesn't want to, or if he or she doesn't want to. And so, whether it's wired or wireless, we can look at all the cameras always from the same spot. In the future, maybe I can mount antennas on the outside. I can also run the wheels in the backseat kit, whether that be the master wheels or the inertia wheels or my alpha wheels. So we have rigging kits for all that stuff. So there's lots of ways you can configure this. That's what's really going to be cool in the future episodes of CineRides, is I'm going to see how you guys have customized some of our products. I'm going to see how you guys have adapted some of our stuff to your ride. I'm going to see how some of the custom stuff that you guys have made, like my front hitch, that was a full-on custom installation I did. So, and what's great is you can watch the videos and get ideas for different things you might want to do on your camera car. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up the first episode of CineRides, and I hope you enjoyed that, but the best is yet to come. If you have a camera car, if you have a CineRide that we should feature on this series, make sure to DM us, get in contact with us, and we'll come to your garage, we'll come to your set, and we'll do this walk around and feature your vehicle. All right, I got to get back to work. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next episode.